welcome. I hope you're well. Today we'll be reading through some Am I the Butthole posts from Reddit, so if that sounds like your cup of tea, then stay tuned. So first up, am I the butthole for laughing and saying what goes around comes around because my uncle's daughter is hanging out with boys who are exactly like him? Following my 16 Uncle Tommy's own definition of hoes, Tommy was the biggest hoe back in the day. He'd be messing around with multiple girls at once, chasing them wherever he'd go like a dog or something. My mum and aunts would constantly tell Tommy it was wrong, but he wouldn't care, and my granny thought it was all cute and encouraged him. Ew. Well, fast forward to now, and Tommy is furious because my cousin Maria, 14, is talking to boys who are literally exactly like he was. Tommy's arguing with my cousin's mum, Sophia, because Maria is hanging out with texting these boys instead of doing her schoolwork. Tommy even got Granny involved, and they've been blaming Sophia for who Mariah's talking to. Okay. Granny was over at ours the other day and was talking about how worried she and Tommy are about Mariah. I didn't try hiding it and was just laughing. Granny was like, "This isn't funny. Mariah can't be having this way and she shouldn't be hanging around with skirt chasers." I told her what goes around comes around, and basically that it's karma that Tommy was a skirt chaser himself and now he has to go to the other end with his own daughter, hanging around with boys who are exactly like he was. Granny was so mad that she left early, which she never does. My mum and two of my aunts were over as well. All three of them agreed that what I said was funny and technically true, but I'm old enough to know that it's one of those times when you laugh about it privately but not to their faces. And it was something for an adult to talk about in a serious matter, not bring up as a joke. I know I probably am, but still, am I the butthole? Not really, no. I mean, at the end of the day, if he did it, then all's fair, you know? So he's gonna have to expect to take his karma on the chin like a big boy. Definitely not the butthole. He's just being salty because he knows it's true. This next post says, am I the butthole for agreeing that my daughter can block her mum's text messages? Our daughter, 15F, has respectful friends, excels at school and plays for the region's top U15's nationals volleyball team. My wife, 47F, is a stay-at-home mum with many side hustles, but she says she has tears in her eyes when doing things for our daughter. Their relationship is unusually volatile and especially over boundary setting, like asking her mum not to post pictures of her on Facebook without consent and wanting to see her doctor alone. That's not exactly a big deal, is it? My wife disregards these, using her position as mum to override our daughter's wishes. Oh, she's one of those. 2 weeks ago, a day after coming back from a family emergency in Europe, I watched another tense exchange. Our daughter gave cautious responses as her mum pressed for many details about the previous night's football game, using her typical fault-finding tone. Who did you leave early with? This was unnecessary since our daughter had kept us both updated via iMessage. I reminded our daughter about respect and engagement. Then I mentioned to my wife that it was clear that she hadn't considered changing her tone with our daughter, despite many people making that suggestion. Yeah, she sounds extremely overbearing. Immediate escalation. Within 14 minutes, my wife accused me of causing our family's dysfunction, and our daughter faced accusations of always being tired and sick and never waking up on time. Our daughter wanted acknowledgement of her mum's past actions, but my wife denied everything. I suggested forgive and forget, which caused my wife to become deranged, then pack her bags, grab the dog, and walked out on us, saying that she needed space and wouldn't be back. She hasn't returned. She sounds very dramatic, doesn't she? 4 days later, minutes before a must-win game, her mum texted to wish our daughter good luck and said she wished she could be there. This frustrated our daughter, who told her mum to stop texting before post-season game, and her walking out was affecting her headspace, and it was her decision to go away. Shortly after, my wife replied with, "If I'm in your head, that's on you. I'm not responsible to manage your emotions. I am responsible for my well-being. Staying under the continuous negative barrage that you and your dad keep trying to pin on my shoulders will no longer be tolerated. I will continue to be your mum and wish the best for you. It's up to you to learn how to manage your own stress. You said that you couldn't sleep with me in the house, so I left to reduce perceived stress that I was the source of. You are reaping the consequences of your own request. Disrespecting me will not fix your issues." Okay. Our daughter was very upset after getting this from her mum. She felt this was sent to blame and justify her actions. She was worried more blaming texts would be sent and asked if she could block her mum. I thought about it for a day and agreed. I know this won't help with any reconciliations with my wife. Am I the butthole for helping to break contact between a mother and her child and for supporting my daughter over my wife? Oh, definitely not the butthole, and if she was my wife, I would be divorcing her very, very quickly, so no. I don't blame you for blocking her number, well, telling your daughter to block her number. I would do the same. She sounds an absolute nightmare. Next up, am I the butthole for not leaving my estate to my severely disabled brother? I, 33F, received a terminal diagnosis early this year. I'm sorry to hear that. I got a couple of years at best estimate to get everything in order before I won't have the cognitive ability to do so anymore. I've been working with a lawyer and an end-of-life care social worker to make sure everything will go as smoothly as possible and my wishes will be respected. I also have a complicated family situation. My parents were never married and my dad died when I was 12 of the same condition I now have. He never married, so all his assets were put in a trust for me by my grandparents. My mum married after they broke up and had my half-brother, 26M. He is severely mentally disabled. He's a 7-year-old in a grown man's body, and even with all the resources they can get, he's very difficult to care for, and my mum and my stepdad barely get by most of the time. They tried really hard to get legal control of my trust when I was living with them, but couldn't. I help out some when things are really hard, but I feel like my mum treats me like an emergency fund rather than her daughter, and my stepdad has been bitter about the financial stuff. My dad was very successful, and his family is well off, since even before my dad died. I don't talk to either of them about my life because they always get passive-aggressive and guilt-trippy. I've been trying to talk more with my mum now that I know I'm on borrowed time. We've never had a great relationship, but I wanted to try and resolve some of it. She's been much nicer to me and more concerned since the diagnosis, so I thought I was okay to open up a bit. I didn't want her to be blindsided or feel like she has to take on anything since I've appointed another family member to be my medical and financial POA. So I talked to her recently about my plans. I told her that I know my half-brother is a full-time job, so I'm having other people take care of my care so she won't be burdened. She was thankful for that, but then brought up how she's always hoped that I would be the one to make sure my brother was taken care of when she was gone, and that in a way I still would be. She would put whatever I leave behind into his care fund and would make sure he knows it's from his big sister. Oh wow. This is where I might be the a-hole. I'm not leaving anything to my mum or brother. I don't have kids, but I have been the favourite auntie to my best friend's 2 children for their entire lives. They are the light of my life and I spend a lot of time with them. My BFF and I have been through a lot together. She and her husband have been the ones going with me to appointments, letting me crash in their spare room when I was too sick with meds to be home alone. Whatever is left over after I'm gone is going to the kids for college. I know it's money that could secure better care for my half-brother and take some of the load off my mum, but I feel like I want to help someone else now. I mean, that's fair enough at the end of the day. They've not really treated you well, so why would they expect you to take the pressure off them now? I think it's your money, do what you want with it. Definitely not the butthole at the end of the day. You don't owe your mum anything. You didn't ask to be born into the world. You didn't ask them to have your brother. Yes, it would be nice to, help your brother out and things, but I have a sneaky suspicion from what you've said about your stepdad and your mum, the money wouldn't go towards them. Well, your brother, sorry. It would go towards their fun, them enjoying themselves. I have a feeling they would take it. So no, definitely not the butthole. So, am I the butthole for telling my cousin to stop inviting my ex to family events? I, 25F, recently broke up with my long-term boyfriend, 28M, and it's been tough, but I'm getting through it. The problem is that my cousin, 24F, and my ex were always friendly, and now she insists on inviting him to family events like holidays and birthday parties. It makes me incredibly uncomfortable, especially because the breakup was a messy one and I'm still healing. Oh yeah, that cannot be nice at all. I've talked to her multiple times explaining how it feels awkward for me and asking if she could just keep her interactions with him outside of family events. She claims I'm being controlling and that it's her right to invite anyone she wants and I shouldn't be so sensitive. She's been posting photos with him on social media and it feels like she's intentionally trying to make me feel uncomfortable. I think she is, I think she is intentionally trying to make it uncomfy for you. The rest of my family agrees with me, but she still insists that I'm overreacting. Am I the butthole for telling her to stop inviting my ex to family events? No, absolutely not. That must be incredibly uncomfortable. And also just knowing the fact that your cousin is doing it as well. Your cousin's the one purposefully making you uncomfortable. Like you say, I do think she's doing this on purpose. That must be really hard. Absolutely not. Your cousin needs to give herself a wobble and get a bloody act together because that's just not a nice thing to do. Am I the butthole for getting an apartment without my boyfriend? See, I am already going to be biased on this one. I am very much on the train of thought of if I ever got a boyfriend, I would not want to live with them. No matter how long we've been together, I would want to keep my house and their house separate. Keep our places separate, finances separate. When you mingle those things, it gets messy. Can't be doing with that. Also, I love my personal space. But anyway, I will continue reading and try to have an unbiased opinion on this. My boyfriend has had his own apartment for about 2 years. I've lived with my parents. I've brought up slowly the idea of us living together, but he never would acknowledge the idea. The past 6 months I've brought it up now and again and suggested we could even split rent and have a bigger apartment, etc. I stay at his place 5 days a week, so I thought he'd be open to the idea. He never would say any and change conversation. Fast forward, I found an apartment for myself. I asked prior if he would be upset if I found one on my own, and he would shrug it off. When I found this apartment, I sent him the link and told him I was touring it. When I told him I'm getting the apartment, he said, "Well, I want you to live with me. I should have asked sooner, and sorry, I'm asking now, but we can make room and I want you to live with me." Mind you, I had to let the landlord know that day, and he jumps and says that. My feelings felt hurt and frustrated as I tried communicating with him about living together so many times. I did end up taking the apartment and we live separate. Am I the butthole? No, because at the end of the day, it seems like he's only decided he wanted to live with you as soon as you found somewhere else. So it's like, uh-oh, she's not at her parents anymore. She's going to have her own place and be able to have whoever she wants around with nobody there. Oh, I don't like the idea of this. No, I can't have that. She needs to come and live with me. I feel like the only reason he said now he wants to live with you is because you don't have your parents there all the time. And I think that he's now panicking, thinking that you're going to be getting up to things that he doesn't want you to be, which is ridiculous. But still, I genuinely think that's where his head is coming from. More context, boyfriend 27 and I, F26, have been dating for 3 years. During this time, I've tried talking to him about living together, and I did make it known if he didn't feel ready to live with me, he should tell me, but he never said anything either. Very confusing. Like I say, I think he just doesn't want you living alone. I think the only reason he didn't say anything about wanting to live with you before is because he didn't want to live with you. The only reason he wants to now is because he doesn't want you alone. He liked it when you were at your parents, and he knew that you had basically watchmen there working on his behalf. So yeah, no, not the butthole. Your boyfriend's weird. So, am I the butthole for telling my husband to return a puppy? My husband and I are in our mid-40s and have been married 15 years. 2 kids, 14 and 11. A couple of years ago, our senior dog died. Since then, we've talked about getting another dog, but maybe when the kids graduate high school. Dogs are a huge commitment, and I have no time. Yeah, they really are. Like, I don't have dogs, I have cats, and even they're a big commitment. So having to do walks every day? I could not. Kids' activities 7 nights a week, and I work 2 jobs, 50 hours total. Husband has a full-time job too, but works from home 3 days a week. Yesterday, I came home to a surprise, a puppy. I felt angry because I made it clear I did not want a dog. The kids were all excited. He said it was my birthday gift. I pushed back and said dogs are a family decision, and I felt he disrespected me. He flew into a rage, threatened separation, and spent the night elsewhere. A bit dramatic, isn't it? He came home today, and I apologised for suggesting he got the dog because he wanted it, rather than a heartfelt gift. But he did, didn't he, though? He did get it because he wanted it. I told him he needs to return the dog. Am I the butthole? He mentioned separation again, and that I treat him like poo. Obviously, if there is some context missing, and this is a general thing of you, like, putting down all of his ideas and whatever, and naysaying all the gifts he get, then yeah, that would be a problem and you might be the butthole. But judging from what we've read here, I don't think so. Like, a dog is a family decision. If someone gets you a dog as a gift, they need to know that you really want the dog first, because then it's not a gift. You're just basically lumping a huge responsibility onto someone that they did not ask for. So no, I don't think you're the butthole from what I've read here. I think your husband wanted the dog and now he's having a little temper tantrum because you don't agree. He thought he could sneak it in under the guise of a gift for you and that you wouldn't say anything because it was a gift for you. And now that you're like, no thank you, he's really not happy. Would I be the butthole if I rejected my mum's plans for my body? I already know I'm going to hate this one. My 20M mum, 38F, recently got back from a year-long journey away from all the family due to grandma passing away. And right from the get-go, she told me I put on some weight. Rude. Ever since I began working in the city, I've been eating out every other day and even got into a pizza frenzy, and I'll admit my body has seen better days. Current height, 166 centimeters, weight 80 kilograms. I have no idea. I have no mental image of what that would mean because British. But in my defense, my physical performance is as good as ever. I constantly walk 3 kilometers a day back and forth towards my work, 6 kilometers daily total. And somehow I don't grow tired from sprinting here and there. Well, then you're good, aren't you? Anyways, today in the morning, my mum went on a tangent on how I'm slowly killing my body and how I should hit the gym already because my weight already has distributed correctly in the right places. Whatever she meant by that. I paid no mind to it and went to take a shower. And when my aunt went to the kitchen and my mum broke into tears, saying how she thinks I ate too much because on the inside I felt lonely without her. I didn't. And how I'm actually depressed, not likely, because those are the reasons she gained weight when she was my age. A single mother, mind you. Kids are not in my book. I can't even get a girlfriend. Yeah, stay away from kids, honestly. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. But yeah, no, your mum is projecting quite hard there, isn't she? Quite hard. Once I put a foot into the bathroom, she pulled me into a hug and told how I'm not alone anymore and how she wanted me to eat fiber, protein, and yada yada yada. I just nodded and went on my way, a little frustrated by the whole exchange. Would I be the butthole if I told her that the things she thinks about my weight gain are just unhealthy projections and that I'm just a fat ass who enjoys food as much as sleeping? No, definitely not. You wouldn't be the butthole. No one can tell you what you do with your body at the end of the day, and she is projecting, so a few home truths might snap her back to reality, maybe. You never know. But no, not the butthole. Absolutely not. That's just weird. Okay, so I think we'll make this the last one for today. Am I the butthole for telling my house guests they need to leave over mental health issues? I, 31F, had a friend, 32F, from university reach out to me asking if her and her sister, 25F, could stay at my place on their trip to the country I now live in, before going to other cities. I had no problems with this. They fly over and were expected to stay a week at my place. I live in the heart of a very big tourist city. What I didn't know was her sister has some obvious serious anxiety issues related to dogs. It turns out her sister and her had no idea about different regulations around dogs in the country where I am. Malls, restaurants, bakeries, bars, pubs, etc. are almost always dogs friendly, where people's pets are welcome and really, except for grocery shops, they're allowed in and encouraged. Her sister became visibly upset when we went for a walk the first day she came and saw the dogs without a lead walking around the city with their owners. She started really getting hysterical when we went inside a local Starbucks and she saw the dogs inside at people's feet. We immediately went home and told her that you can't really avoid dogs because they'll be out and about. Her sister then told me she didn't want to even leave my place with all these unpredictable dogs and wanted to stay indoors the entire time. I suggested that this week and the following places they were going to visit are going to be exactly the same. The sister immediately tells me that they'll just stay at my place for a few weeks and fly home. I told them I was absolutely not okay with this and that if this seriously was a big of a deal that they needed to leave. Am I the butthole for asking them to leave after these change in circumstances? No. Like, what's the point in coming to a country where dogs are literally everywhere and then just staying in for 2 weeks and going home? No, I don't think you're the butthole really for that. I mean, at the end of the day, if she has got a fear of dogs, then she can't help that either. However, has nobody ever heard of researching the places that you're going before you go? It's common sense. Okay, so that's going to do it then for today. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy and you stuck around all the way to the end, first of all, thank you. Second of all, feel free to like and subscribe. It will definitely help me out in the algorithms and things. Other than that, I hope you have a really good day. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I will see you again soon. Goodbye.